A week on from Formula One's blast around the sand dunes in Zandvoort, we move over to round 16 of the season, back to the home of the Tifosi. It's the Italian Grand Prix here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. It's round 16 of the season then. Max Verstappen not winning a race then in over 2 months. By the time Sunday rolls around, it will be September. But can he get his first win in 5 races? That's going to be the question. After that, we move over to middle of September. We will go to Azerbaijan, back to back with Singapore. October then goes in with a month break before we head to the United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. Mexico follows after, then a week later we go to November with Brazil. A little bit of a gap before back stateside to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And then November takes us into December with Qatar, and the season rounds out on the 8th of December in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen leads the title, 295 points, but Lando Norris is closing him in, 225 points to him. Charles Leclerc is now in a battle with Oscar Piastri, 192 to 179. They're followed closely by Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton with 2 victories and 4 points last time out has now put him in 6th place. Sergio Perez is just holding off George Russell over 7th and 8th. Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll and Nico Hülkenberg appear at the first page, closely in a battle, just 2 points separating them. On the second page, Yuki Tsunoda has 22 points. He's 10 clear to Daniel Ricciardo. Pierre Gasly now finally ahead of Oliver Bearman after getting 2 points last time out at Zandvoort. But then it's Magnussen ahead of Ocon, level on points. Albon a point behind them. Zhou wins so far, neither for Bottas. Sargent is out, replaced by Franco Colapinto. In the Constructors' Championship, it's hotting up. Just 30 points between Red Bull and McLaren at the front, 434 to 404. Ferrari are on their own, no one else around them. Then we get Mercedes in 4th position. Then over 201 points back, we actually go to Aston Martin in 5th, who are well clear. But it's a battle for 6th, that's interesting. RB, Haas closing in on each other. Alpine getting their act together. Williams now with a new driver line to see how they're going to go in the last 9 races. And Kick Sauber still with no points on the board. Let's take a look at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza here at the Royal Park in Italy. It's been on the calendar since 1950, a fan, driver and just about everyone's favourite, the Temple of Speed. Get a good exit out of the last corner and fire down towards the line. DRS open, 8th gear maximum. It's a long run down to turn 1 at the Rettifilio. Make sure that the car is perfectly balanced before you slam on the brakes at around about 70 metres. Into the right, left Rettifilio. Back on the power from 1st gear very gingerly as you head down, round the Curve de Grande. A long sweeping right-hander, ever building up the speed into 8th gear. Flat out maximum. Another heavy braking zone into the second chicane, the Dalla Roggia chicane. Braking 100 metres, flip the car left, right, back over the bump. Don't put a wheel on the gravel as you head down. Slightly banked is the right-hander Lesmo 1. It sort of feeds you in 5th gear, rising up towards Lesmo 2. A lot tighter, right-hander as well, downhill section of the track as you cut now with the second DRS zone. Maximum 8th gear, down underneath the old banking section as you head towards the Ascari chicane. Quick flick to the left, down from 8th gear all the way to 5th. Carry a lot of speed in, the traction will carry you flat out as you head down after Ascari towards the Parabolica. No DRS in this section as well. If you want to overtake, you have to use your ERS battery deployment. Flick the car in then as well, light dab with the brakes down to 5th gear into the Parabolica. Carry up the speed, use as much exit as you're allowed as you hurtle down across the line to complete the lap. It's a short track, but it's a fan favourite. That is a lap of Monza. It's a wonderful circuit with so much history. One of the originals in motorsport. Welcome to the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza for round 16 of F1 2024. Hello everybody, well here we are then, the Italian Grand Prix at a new look Monza. New tarmac, better curbs, more raceability the drivers have been saying as well. And definitely some new commentary boxes that we're going to get our first look at here in a couple of minutes time. The old ones of course got condemned and I don't know where the new ones are. Don't even know if the new ones have been built yet or have windows. Nobody is responding to me. Maybe that's a job for Omi to message Alex Jakes for as well. Good afternoon Omi, as it is now as well. This can be very difficult. I'm still not 100%. I'm commentating with a massive ulcer in my mouth as well. And I very much am, I would say, 60% okay. So this will be fun. But you've already had a busy morning across F3 and F2. How are you doing?
Yes, busy morning indeed. Exciting FP1 though coming our way. Interesting to see how the Ferrari updates work out. But also, most of all, it's all going to be about Antonelli getting the FP1 and also Franco Colapinto taking over. These practice sessions are going to be very crucial for him as he takes over Logan Sargent Williams. Lots of news between Zandvoort and also Monza here as well.
Yes, absolutely. Just in the space of 5 days, Formula One has been front page story as well. Many people saying, how have McLaren gained 22 seconds up to the Red Bulls as well? What's happened to Red Bull? Is it something to do with asymmetric braking? Is it to do with Christian Horner leaving the team as well? And exactly what was the final reason for Logan Sargent leaving Williams as well and being replaced by Franco Colapinto? Somebody who nobody expected to go into the seat. We were expecting Liam Lawson, Mick Schumacher, someone along those lists to go in. Definitely a surprise, but a welcome one that Franco Colapinto gets the call up for the last 9 races.
Great to see Franco Colapinto getting his opportunity. Brilliant throughout his junior career, and also a huge moment for all of the fans of Argentina as well. So a very exciting weekend coming our way to see how that is all going to play out. Of course, various reasons why Liam Lawson and Mick Schumacher could not get the seat. Me and Megan were discussing a little bit about that as well in Formula 2, because of course it's caused a little bit of an effect with everyone getting promoted in F2 and F3. So yeah, lots of change, lots has changed in the driver market, but it'll be very interesting to see how Franco Colapinto is going to perform. And it does mean that if Logan Sargent and Alexander Albon aren't able to race at some point next year, then they've at least got a solid driver as a backup.
Absolutely, and another driver making an F2 step up, for at least for the first practice session, is Andrea Kimi Antonelli. He's in for George Russell in this opening session as well. We're expecting him, though, only to be officially announced very shortly.
Yep, it seems like he'll be officially announced. We've been waiting for this weekend, lots of rumors and talk for it to be announced today, and it's going to be interesting to see when they are going to announce it, but we are expecting it to be announced. Big shoes to fill for Kimi Antonelli, and today in his home race, he's going to get to drive George Russell's Mercedes around in front of the Tifosi around this incredible circuit as well. And of course, he's still on F2 duties and hoping to have a good weekend there.
Loads to talk about then in this opening session. There's a lot more news and we'll go through everything in detail coming up shortly, but it is time to head over to the track here as well. It's the first practice session for the 2024 Pirelli Gran Premio d'Italia. Let's head up then. It's scorching temperatures. It's already track temperature 50.4 degrees, air temperature at 32.6, 3 kilometre wind speed. It's a vast difference to what we had before. Here it comes then, the first practice session for the Italian Grand Prix weekend here at Monza. everybody loved Formula One, there's certainly a few racetracks that are everybody's favourites. Certainly one favourite that has been on the calendar on and off since 1950 is Monza. This circuit oozes Formula One history and it oozes perfection. Welcome to the Italian Grand Prix, this year resurfaced faster than ever. It's effectively 4 straights showcased by 3 different chicanes. We have the first one at the Rettifilo, then we have Dalla Roggia, 2 Lesmos, and then down towards the Ascari chicane and the Parabolica. 11 turns in total, the drivers feel around about 9 of them. It's not that big of a difference of circuit though. The old banking was going to be absolutely fantastic. We've got a feature of that coming up on Sunday race day. C5 soft, C4 medium, C3 hard are the tyres, the softest of Pirelli's range compared to Zandvoort a week ago, which was at the highest of the range. And as we welcome you up to the commentary box, Josh Birch alongside with Omi up here as well for round 16's first session. I think Omi as well, that could become quite problematic, having the softest tyres here. Monza has got a brand new resurfaced track. It's improved the racing spectacle. They've planted some new trees around the area after the deforestation storms a couple of years ago. It's a bit safer. It's a bit better for the crowd as well. The racing should be fun, but already as well, the curbs make it racier, but the grip, it's ripping up the tyres. And there are, by the way, the new commentary boxes here at Monza. So it's just ripping it up massively, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. With this new tarmac, it could be a little bit hard for the drivers on the tyres as well, in what is a Grand Prix that is usually very, very quick as well in terms of time. But yeah, we could be seeing some extra pit stops being made if the tyres are very bad. Lots of testing though. How much are you able to use some of those new curbs as well that have been implemented? So lots of getting used to for these drivers. They have 3 hours though to get used to it, unlike all of the other support series that are on this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's not a sprint weekend as to what we've usually had here in the past, so it's going to be quite interesting, as you said, Omi. 3 60-minute sessions across the weekend, qualifying then split up into 3 parts, 18, 15 and 12, 53 laps ahead of us on Sunday, and it's actually quite comical, Omi, as we go down to quickly down in the pits.
Hello, Corinne. Welcome everybody to the pit lane. I tell you, I've been working in this pit lane for 23 years, and I've seldom seen attention like Kimi Antonelli is getting at the front of this garage. It's thinned out a bit now, but take a look at this shot from just a few minutes ago. It's thinned out for a good reason, because Kimi Antonelli is about to go on track. But Rachel, if we can play these shots in from just a minute ago, it was 3 deep with photographers at the front of the garage, and I haven't seen attention on a driver like this since the Michael Schumacher days. I promise you, it's that much. And when you bear in mind that you've got Ferrari, you've got Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, the stars of Ferrari, you've got Lewis Hamilton in the next garage, for heaven's sake. He's going to be a Ferrari driver next year. And yet, it's the Italian star of tomorrow and the man who we all expect to be a Formula One driver for Mercedes next year who's getting all the attention. Star quality, Rachel. Star quality and expectation. And that's why he's so popular at the moment.
Thanks, Ted. Yeah, and George Russell's watching on as well, Omi, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli really is going to be, I think, the star of Mercedes, certainly the star of the future. There's so much attention around him. It's a big pressure this first session. Yeah,
quite a lot of pressure on Andrea Kimi Antonelli. When he first arrived in the F2 paddock, he had more people surrounding. He had more people surrounding him than Mick Schumacher had when he first arrived in 2019 as well to the F2 paddock. And then, of course, he also was getting quite a lot of attention, as you'd expect, but nothing compared to what Andrea Kimi Antonelli has. So he's had just quite a bit as the green light goes on, and Antonelli is about to go on the circuit in a second.
We're underway for the first practice session here at Monza. The cars fly onto the circuit. We're riding on board with Fernando Alonso as we come down to the Rettifilo here as well. And he's got some new aero rakes on. Of course, perfect opportunity to test the track out here as well in terms of who's got the fastest aero speed. It's a straight line circuit. 3rd of the 9th, 2024, all will be vanquished. The new Aston Martin Valkyrie will be coming through as well. The new Vanquish coming out too. It's going to be fun. But front aero work for Alonso, rear aero work for Lance Stroll as well. I mean, I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on as to how much Aston Martin are going to upgrade over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what Aston Martin are going to be able to do. Of course, Alonso earlier this week also saying the comments which got a little bit of attention. Ferrari's the car to beat. People speculating whether that is the car to beat for Aston Martin or whether that is the car to beat for the entire field as well. Ricciardo still in the pit lane, but Antonelli is out there on the circuit, and he is really a driver that has a lot of potential and definitely could be the next Max Verstappen, and the Tifosi are definitely going to be happy with that one, that they are getting an Italian driver. They already have an Italian team. The Ferrari is cheered for all the way through, but at least now they've got an Italian driver making his way through and definitely could be the next champion.
This is a driver who only 3 seasons ago was still in karting. He won the FIA Karting European Championship in 2021. He won the Italian ADACF Ford Championship in 2022. He won 2023's FRECA with Prema Racing as well. He won FRECA in his first attempt as well, and currently this year he's won 2 races in FIA Formula 2, a sprint race and a feature race as well, and he definitely, I think, has got it, as there is Marco Antonelli, Andrea Kimi Antonelli's father, watching on in the pit lane down at Mercedes. I think as well, a lot of pressure, but he's not just sitting in here as a rookie. He's had experience in the car from 2022. He's had experience now in this car. He's done thousands of simulator hours as well. He is ready for all of this. And he's got to also get to 100 kilometres in this first session to qualify for the Super License for next year as well.
Yeah, he right now has done quite a lot of preparation. Absolutely is ready. FRECA, one of the highlights, of course, of last year for him, and the brilliant Zandvoort going from 8th to 1st in 2 laps in the wet, where was absolutely incredible. In Germany on the final lap, taking Prema to the team's championship with a bold, brilliant, daring move as well. So Andrea Kimi Antonelli has shown his class, and while this empty season he's picked up, of course, 2 wins, it's been a bit of a mechachrome lottery at times. Teams not having equal car parts, there's been so much going on. Prema haven't been able to get it right as well. Same with ART, the 2 teams who've dominated Formula 2 for the last few years. They haven't been able to get it right this year, but Antonelli's been doing his minimum, and that is beating another driver who's F1 bound, Oliver Ben.
Yeah, both the Prema drivers are expected to be in Formula 1 next season. We already know that Ollie Behrman has signed with Haas for 2025. We're expecting the announcement today, or at least this weekend, that Andrea Kimi Antonelli will be in the car for Mercedes next year as well. Big step to be put into the main race-winning team. And of course, I mean, a manufacturer in Mercedes who have won the last 5 Grand Prix as well. McLaren have won 3. No, McLaren have won 2. Mercedes have won 3 of those races, of course. 2 for Hamilton, 1 for Russell, and then 1 for Norris and 1 for Piastri.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell how special the driver is when he's getting put straight into a top team. Usually you'd see them put into a lower team, then progress. So, for example, put in Williams or something like that, then progress. But Verstappen going through the runoff at the Rettifilio chicane as well. But that just shows Antonelli's talent. Mercedes aren't as good as they were, but they're getting back up there. So, a little bit less of a risk. But even getting Antonelli isn't much of a risk, as we see Leclerc also going over the Rettifilio chicane as well. Has been there already in 2019 when he was defending against Lewis Hamilton, taking his Ferrari to victory that day.
Interesting, new reprofiled part of the track down at the Rettifilio. Not in terms of reprofiled, it's a different configuration of the chicane. And somebody just screenshot that. Antonelli's fastest at the moment on a 1:23.955. He's 4 turns quicker than Lando Norris. So just get used to that, everybody at the front of the screen. It's quite comical that he's gone faster than all. But the reprofiled Rettifilio comes from the runoff area where the chicane is for motorcycles. there used to be sausage curbs for F1. And you might remember Max Verstappen getting launched on those sausage curbs and going on the top of Lewis Hamilton, almost killing Hamilton. There's a few other instances of junior formulas running across them and breaking wrists, breaking backs. Abby Eaton, of course, breaking a back with one in Kota. So it's been reprofiled. With the track being relaid, they've completely got rid of that motorcycle chicane. So it's easier now to get through on a motorcycle at the Rettifilio, but also the runoff area now just has a piece of gravel across it, no sausage curbs, and for the second lap running, Max Verstappen going off down at the Rettifilio and having to take the escape roads. This time, though, getting blocked by a car in the braking zone. New rear wing on the back of the Red Bull. That looks a bit like one of those boomerangs that Batman carries around.
Yes, absolutely. So Verstappen trying to make the move on one of the Haas drivers to the inside and fully outbraking himself. Bottas going to second position, but this time actually going to second position, unlike last week with what the graphics department or the timings had at the end of the Dutch Grand Prix. That's the Piastri, the only car which have led each of the last 5 races.
And took a victory with one as well at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Second in Austria, 4th at Silverstone. Victory in Hungary, 2nd in Belgium, 4th in the Netherlands. Piastri really has been quite consistent in his 2nd year in Formula 1. And he's, of course, let's not forget, last year he took a sprint race win in Qatar as well. So Piastri very much is up there with everything he needs to see. Let's head down to the pit lane and join Ted Kravitz.
The airflow, get a computerized picture of the airflow coming off those front tyres on the McLaren. Piastri, not the only one. Both Aston Martins and Alpine and plenty of teams up and down the pit lane. And that's because Monza, with its long straights, gives them the perfect opportunity to get a straight line, a picture of the airflow in a straight line. Obviously, they do it at other circuits, but Monza's long straights really does give them a different view, a different picture, if you like, of the airflow. The only downside, of course, is that the drivers then have to wait ages for the mechanics to take the aerodynamic rigs and the rakes off, which is currently what's happening with a few drivers up and down the pit lane. But yeah, more aerodynamic testing required, always required, whether it's upgrades for the rest of the season, which is increasingly unlikely, or more to the point, 2025 designs.
Thanks, Ted. Yeah, we're getting to the crucial end of the season now where 2025 designs are going to be on the board as well for everybody trying to finalise next year. You'll sort of leave your 2024 designs and take elements going into 25, but it usually is only a completely different car. Certainly the Red Bull is a completely different car coming into this one. But next year as well, when we're expecting everybody to close back up at the front, Red Bull are already slipping back, so is it going to be McLaren who sort of take the leg forward, finally understanding these regulations, before they change again for 26?
Yeah, it is always upsetting that as soon as it becomes competitive and soon as the whole field closes in, we get another regulation change and someone else is able to find a massive step forward. But luckily we're getting it started already this year of some competitive racing. McLaren taking a huge leap forward though as well. It'll be interesting to see whether they can continue this time around. We're still yet to see what Ferrari's biggest package so far this season is capable of. As we watch, James Bowles has been a very hard week for him and Williams as a whole, having to release Logan Sargent, but a long time coming for him.
Yes, and this is Franco Colapinto, I believe. Is this Alexander Albon? It's Alexander Albon, currently third fastest at the moment, 9,000th the pace of Antonelli. Just taking a little bit of an avoiding line, coming down towards the Parabolica. Carlos Sainz locking up on the front right, running straight over the curb as well, down at Rettifilio. Interesting thing also to put in, Franco Colapinto, has he gone out on the circuit? Yes, he has. I'm just trying to see where he is on the timing monitor up here in the comms box at the moment. I don't know if he's back in the pit lane or not. No, he says he's still out. He's in the first sector. There he is. No, wait a minute. Where is he? Magnussen, Verstappen. Could be up there. Sainz, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Perez. Colapinto is coming down towards Ascari. There he is. Marshall point 12 on the driver tracker there. And he's right behind Charles Leclerc. So there's Antonelli coming down the straight as well. I do admit, I will admit, Omi, I don't know if you've got multi-view open and you can see the driver tracker as well. Better than... Oh, and Antonelli spun it! Antonelli's into the barrier! Oh, I don't believe it! He's only 10 minutes into his Formula 1 career, and he's lost it coming through the Parabolica, and he's slammed into the barrier. Andrea Kimi Antonelli only manages 10 minutes before destroying the car. Oh my third. Toto Wolff doesn't know. That's a sign that Toto Wolff just gone, He says, I'm okay. And Toto Wolff is now drastically reconsidering. Medical car deployed. I hope he's okay. No, there's no front wing on that car. Has he damaged? Was there a front wing failure coming in there? I'm not too sure. He looked like he just lost on the dust.
Well, I'd hope that there was a front wing failure. That is disappointment. Right when the contract is signed and it's about to be announced, and in his FP1 section, he goes off at the parabolica, hits the wall, and that's Russell's car destroyed, and that's work for Mercedes to do. Yeah, they will be a little bit, well, they'll be very disappointed. So will Antonelli, and that will probably also ruin his momentum now, and also have a confident hit as well for him, especially when he has to go into Formula 2 after this as well. So that is heartbreaking for him.
Lost it. Let's take a look at it, Omi. So talk us through it. It's dusty out here, let's remember.
Dusty, and he's going to throw the car in, and he's just going to lose it, completely lose it, high speed into the barrier, exactly where Bert Mylander also found the wall yesterday with the brake failure that he had. We haven't even talked about that yet, but now we've got another story to talk about. Kimi Antonelli finding the barrier, losing it on the way in, and straight into the wall.
I don't know what to say. I really don't.
Same.
Let's take another look at it. So turns in. Immediately on entry to the parabolica, the car was unsettled. So I reckon he's tapped the brake to try and rebalance the car. But doing so, he's locked the front, rear steps out massively, and he's a passenger. And it's such a short runoff down at parabolica. Here's his radio. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Sorry.
Kimi, all good. All good, Kimi.
This is exactly it, isn't it, Karun?
Toto over the radio there saying, Kimi, all good, Kimi. Yeah, there's Toto. I'll bring it up, Omi, but we know better. But it wouldn't be a fair broadcast if we didn't bring it up. Is he ready?
Yeah, absolutely. We do need to mention it, and I definitely do talk about it. Is he ready? Well, definitely his junior career does suggest it. Once again, we can't really take too much from Formula 2 this year. We've seen that what's happened to many of them who performed this year, and of course even teams. We've got a driver quitting after this round as well in Formula 2 due to it. So everything is going on in that series, and Antonelli has been absolutely beating Oliver Bearman week in, week out. He's also taken the car to 2 victories, including a
door's not closed! Oh, door's not closed on the medical car. We can't afford that. Do not smash that one up as well.
Yeah, we don't need another one smashed.
He started driving off with the door open. I was like, what on earth are you doing? Bruno Serrero there. Go on, Amy.
Yeah, but it is definitely a hard one. But I think these FP1s, what I was expecting when they sent the request to FIA to try making a bit of an exception. Now it's in the rules, of course. They of course amended it. I was expecting them to get more FP1s. But yeah, quite a lot of pressure being put in this session. But he probably knows that there's a contract extension also coming and being announced. His contract signing being announced very shortly. So huge pressure for him in his home race. So yeah, I think probably they should have given him a few more FP1s as well, in my opinion, before this.
Well, he needed to get a total. I'm just working it out. 5.793 times by 2. I keep doing that wrong. Hang on, sorry, give me 1 second. 5.793 times by 5. Okay, so he needed to get to 100 kilometers in this first practice session. He's got to 28.965. So he's got effectively 29 kilometers under his belt before he crashed. So not the greatest there. George Russell watching on, looking at Lewis Hamilton.
I'm not excited for social media after this.
Yeah, should we take a quick? I'm going to take a look actually.
I'm on it as well.
Yeah. Back to Bahrain when Christian Horner's messages came out now.
Right. Formula 2 saying, told you guys he was quick. Oh my god.
I've used hashtag Antonelli.
Many people jinxing it.
Magnussen and Sainz to investigate after the session for impeding. Let's have a look. He went from 327 kilometers an hour down to 0, and the impact G was at 12, according to the data that we just got off the car that's been sent to me. That's a big one there. Many people say that he's not ready. Yes. Not the best there. Jarno cursed Kimi. Oh, no, you're joking. Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about it quickly. I've got the red flag out. Yesterday, in the high-speed test track where the safety car and medical car get their test session for an hour, we had the safety car crash for the first time under Bert Marlander. He never crashed the safety car, he told me at the start of the year, and then he's gone and crashed it. But it looked like the brakes had failed, and he threw the car into a spin and hit the barrier hard at Parabolica. It's written off the safety car. We have got another one here this weekend, though. But he can't let the car saying, my leg, my leg. But thankfully, he looks to be okay. It was a scary crash, wasn't it, Amy?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a lot of people were having a go at him, but actually it was some great expert stuff from Bert Mylander, spinning the car to reduce a bit of the friction. And also, if he had just gone straight on into the wall, that would have been huge. And probably there could have been some injuries. He had a passenger in the car at the time as well, so he needed to be careful. So he managed to just about get it into a little bit of a spin to balance everything out with the crash, because it was going to go in the wall. He knew that the brakes had failed. So yeah, brilliant stuff from Bert Mylander. But yeah, he's had the job since, what is it, 2000? So he's had it for a very long time. And yeah, first time that he's actually crashed the safety car. But yeah, the Parabolic are already starting to claim people this weekend.
That's 2 under my assumption as well. So red flag is out. Let's see what happens next. Let's head back over to the pit wall and join BBC Radio 5 Live.
As Bex mentioned, has almost tried to backtrack on that a little bit, but I think we can say that he's clearly got a great sort of safety net around him, and people are looking after his welfare, and of course it is in Mercedes and Toto Wolff's business to do that. As we just get another look at the crash, let's bring in the BBC's F1 correspondent Andrew Benson. Andrew, all eyes on Kimi Antonelli, and then in the wall he goes.
Indeed, and in the Toto Wolff interview that I did in Zandvoort, which you can hear on the podcast later, one of the things he said, by the way, I'm telling you this because I'm not breaking any exclusives because it's already on the website, he said, we need to provide an environment, if he was in the car, that he can learn and develop. Clearly with young drivers they make mistakes and they have to learn sometimes the hard way, and all of that we would expect if we put him in the car. Now, whether Toto Wolff expected it quite this soon, I don't know. I think it's interesting that Antonelli was fastest on his first lap, then Hamilton beat his time by 0.6, and then on the very next lap he crashed. I'm not saying that was the cause, it's just an interesting coincidence potentially. And I think, you know, the context we have to think about is this is only the beginning of the pressure on Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Next year he's going to be up against George Russell in that Mercedes, who's one of the very best drivers in Formula One. You know, look at his qualifying record against Hamilton this year. And the chances are that they are competing with each other for the one seat at Mercedes in 2026 alongside Max Verstappen, which at the moment things look like they're heading in that direction. It's a long way from firmed up, that by the way, but it's certainly a possibility, a decent possibility. So, you know, at some point, if Verstappen joins Mercedes, Wolff will have to make a choice between Antonelli and Russell. And he even says in the interview he doesn't expect Antonelli to beat Russell. So we're talking an intense pressure cooker environment. And as Wolff put it himself, he just needs to swim. We're not sitting with him in the car. He has the talent, the intelligence, the ability, all of it to do it well. We have to wait and see whether he can do that, of course.
We do indeed. Thank you, Andrew. But with our first public glimpse of Antonelli in a Mercedes, going fastest and then losing out that top time and then finding the wall a lap later. He is out of the car, he is okay, and is already back in the medical car and back in the paddock and being seen to as the car is being lifted away onto the flatbed truck and driven back to the pit lane.
Thank you, Harry.
Off at turn 11. Is he okay? Stand by. Yes, I think he's okay. Yep, driver okay.
That's Lewis Hamilton there.
And that was what happened.
That's Hamilton on the radio. We've got a couple more messages coming through. Let's hear from Andrea Kimi Antonelli, his 2 radios that we've had so far.
And Kimi, just let me know what you need on flap adjust, if anything.
At the moment, I don't really know because I was super close. I didn't expect to be so close.
Yeah, AFA, understood.
And then this was just after he had the accident.
You okay? Are you okay?
Yeah. Sorry.
Kimi, all good. All good, Kimi.
Session's going to be starting in 3 minutes' time. Let's hear from Lewis Hamilton, that complete radio message that he sent.
Okay, so that's Kimi off at turn 11. Is he okay? Stand by. Yes, I think he's okay. Yeah, driver.
Some Argentine fans there, Omi, watching on, saying about Franco Colapinto as well. And that's nice to see. Estimated time of session resumption is at 13:53. That's now been confirmed by the stewards. The drivers are already ready at the end of the pit lane. After what was about a 10-minute delay, they've repaired that tyre barrier incredibly quickly. I thought we would be on the red flag for longer than that, with it, of course, hitting the concrete. I can't hear Omi. Is that my fault?
There we go. Hello.
Oh, right, hello.
Yes. Well, yeah, quick job from them as we're going to go back out onto the circuit. And yeah, lots of people on social media have been fearing if Hamilton and Colapinto get into a crash, social media will go absolutely crazy.
Looks like we have. Let's have a word with Bradley Lord, who's down there at Mercedes.
So sorry to see that with Kimi Antonelli. Firstly, we hear he's okay. Just what is the team's assessment right now?
We're literally just getting the car back as we speak, actually, Rachel, so we'll be able to take a look. Obviously, there's a pretty hefty impact at high-speed corner, so Kimi's still down at the medical centre just being checked out, making sure everything's okay, and then we'll assess the car and hopefully have it turned around for FP2.
Bradley, we heard Toto come on the radio straight away to give Kimi a little bit of reassurance. Just want to ask about the the conversations going into the session. Was it what was going to be his plan? Obviously not how it ended, but was it just dial yourself in? What was the advice that the team gave him before the session?
Yeah, I think it was. He was running. We're running a floor comparison, just still evaluating the update that we brought to Spa. So he had one on, Lewis has the other on the other car. 2 sets of soft tyres, and really just head on out and enjoy yourself and enjoy the experience. That was the only real advice he was given. So yeah, it's unfortunate it ended the way it did, but he was sort of on the limit, pushing the limit from lap 1, and that's always good to see, and it's all part of the learning curve.
How do you prepare someone, 18 years old? I know we've said his age a few times. I know Max came in younger, but how do you prepare an 18-year-old for a team like Mercedes and for a weekend like this, and possibly, as everyone's speculating, a future with the team? How do you prepare someone like that? What does Mercedes do?
Yeah, it's been lots of work back at the factory with the engineers in the sim, understanding the switch changes, how the car works, and everything he needs to do from the driving point of view. And then obviously we've done thousands of kilometres already this season in a 2022 car, in the TPC program we call it, testing of a previous car. So that's also been a big part of Kimi's preparation so far.
And Bradley, how does the team, I see Toto in the background behind you there, how do you guys put an arm around his shoulder? Because between now and I think it's Mexico, his next goal, that's a few more days. It's a lot of time for this to be sitting in his brain, isn't it? So how are you going to put an arm around his shoulder and hope this doesn't hurt him psychologically?
I think it's exactly that, Karun. I mean, it's a high support environment that we need to give him, and he'll be having exactly that. It changes nothing. It's all part of the learning curve for a young driver, and the biggest challenge now will be to get him back and focused for F2 qualifying this afternoon and able to deliver his maximum there.
Appreciate you coming on, Bradley. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you more across the weekend, and we do.
Bradley Lord there, the chief officer down at Mercedes as well for technical officer, and of course in the media department as well. Green light is on. We are back underway for 35 minutes of this session as well. The drivers venturing out there on the circuit. Quite a lot of them on the tyres they were before the red flag, so a few on softs, a few on mediums. Only driver on the hards is Yuki Tsunoda. He's going out there to do long runs in this opening session as well. We're looking at Max Verstappen coming round the Curve de Grande down towards the Dalla Roggia chicane. And I think Omi as well, someone who has got his, longest non-winning streak in 2 seasons.
Yeah, Verstappen trying to bounce back this weekend. But when was the last time we saw a driver given an FP1 bin it into the barrier?
Oh. Max runs wide at Lesmo too. There's got to be somebody that's thrown into the barrier. We've all gone, look at that. Colapinto didn't do it in Austria, did he? So I feel like it was someone in Austria for Williams. Somebody there crashed as Verstappen did not look planted through Ascari, and he's fast in the middle sector, but he's still not great there. Hamilton's still top, 101.23.350. He's 49 thousandths faster than Lando Norris at the moment, but I don't know. If anybody knows that in the YouTube comments, let us know up here in the box. When was the last time a driver crashed who was a development driver? Max fastest on a 123.088. 2.5 tenths faster than Lewis Hamilton. On board with the young Argentine, Franco Colapinto. Omi, let's talk a bit about him, shall we? 1 races this year in Formula 2, 6 in the standings as well. Nobody saw this coming. We knew Sargent was probably gone after his crash in Practice 3 at Zandvoort. We were expecting Schumacher and Lawson. You've already discussed why not in the F2 broadcast. We'll go over that in a second, but why Franco Colapinto?
Yeah, that is the interesting question, giving it to their academy man as Colapinto comes over the line and proves his time there as well. But yeah, Franco Colapinto, definitely an interesting choice. All the talk about Lawson, all the talk about Schumacher, in the end, it is Franco Colapinto, of course, the winner of the Imola Sprint race earlier this year. It was a fantastic race and drive from Colapinto in that one to take the lead on the last lap of the race. But yeah, it's an interesting question why him. Of course, I think if it was between himself and the other Williams Jr. in F2 O'Sullivan, definitely I think Colapinto has shown more to do, and it was that move on the last lap that really did convince Williams that he was the driver to go for rather than O'Sullivan.
Hamilton moves up to 4th place now as well in his last lap time. It's Valtteri Bottas on the soft tyre who's gone top at 1:22.416. Alonso moves out the way for Piastri as he comes into Lesmo too. Yeah, so we know it's a development programme. It's Colapinto's part of the academy. They already know they've got Carlos Sainz coming in next year alongside Alexander Albon. So they didn't want to really promote someone in who A, could have stolen Mercedes secrets, or B, they didn't think was good enough, because we've heard James Vowles today already say to the media, let's be brutally honest, there's nothing special about Mick Schumacher. So it's kind of like, okay, except that Vowles didn't want Schumacher. I know Toto probably asked, but at the same time as well, was RB and Red Bull really going to lend Liam Lawson to them for the last 9 races, where Williams could overtake RB in the constructor standings if they've got 2 competitive drivers?
And the issue they've got is even if they were fine loaning, what if Perez doesn't perform? We've got another break coming up, and they may need Lawson if there is some driver changes at Red Bull, which if Perez continues performing badly, absolutely could be needed. Lawson then of course Williams of course got him till the end of the year. Then what do they do then with Lawson down at Williams? And that would become a bit of a situation. We've still got a break coming up. We've still got an opportunity for Perez to get fired if he does not perform. Then they may need Lawson again. So Red Bull would have probably put something like, well, you can take him, but if we want him back, we're getting him back straight away.
Going to need to extend my driver grid graphic on the graphics we have at the start of every show. If we lose Sergio Perez, there'll be a 23rd driver on the grid for a season where we thought, oh, for the first time in F1 history, we start the season with exactly the same drivers that ended the last season. It's now dramatically changed by round 15. We've had 2 extra drivers, Behrman and now Colapinto, and it could still further change with Liam Lawson coming in again. So it's mad, but it's a good mad. That's what Formula 1 is, a bit of jumping around.
It's been bizarre. It's been definitely a bizarre year with lots of switching and changing. And I think for Oliver Behrman, it's very good that he got that opportunity with Ferrari in Jeddah. Or what would have happened with the Haas contract? Because of course the season in F2 hasn't been good. Would Haas have considered that it has been a bit of a lottery at times, Formula 2 this year? Who knows? So they may have not been able to give it to him if he didn't have the Saudi drive. So he will be absolutely loving that. The Jeddah drive, it was a brilliant performance, and now he's got an opportunity with Haas next year, and it's been doing well with the Haas programs as well all the way through.
So over there, Esteban Ocon now, he was talking to Ted.
That we probably go this fast on Monza, so you know, it's going to be exciting.
It'll change quite a lot in terms of I'm sure especially with these temperatures, the grip will be quite high. And because it's still fairly new, I think the grip will evolve through the weekends, and there'll be probably a big track evolution. So I think that'll be fun. They change the curbs as well. Right now, I can't say I love them. It takes a little bit of the old kind of feeling of Monza away in some places.
The curves have changed, the grip has changed. I did my sim session beforehand, and it was with the old layout, so all grip. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, and also to see if it changes the approach as well. You know, with the downforce, it might push you to go for less now that there is a little bit more grip. So I think it will be interesting also to see what it does with the tires.
Maybe lost a bit of its character. I feel like some of the curbs they've put in are a little bit more generic, and I think generally Monza had quite a specific style of track. It was quite bumpy, but that's not a bad thing, and the curbs were quite unique, so let's see how it goes. I think there's going to be a lot of exploring in FP1 and FP2. I think there's with these curbs, if you can use them or not, and how much you can use them will be a big question mark. Yeah, let's see.
The driver's thoughts on exactly what the new Monza feels to them, and the new curbs, the new track surface as well, and it is grippy. I think here comes the problem, Omi. We're in a European venue with sort of Dubai levels of air and track temperature. Track temperature is at 51.6 degrees, air temperature is at 33 degrees. We've got a brand new surface here, which is still black and shiny. And because it's shiny, the bitumen, which is the undertone of the circuit, sort of like the resin, it's up at the top, and it's incredibly slippery out here. So the question is, the drivers are going to have great grip, but the tyres are going to be chewed up much, much faster. We could be in for a two-stop race on Sunday.
Yep, absolutely. Usually one stop. Usually it does go by very quickly. Still most likely will, with a bit more of an attacking strategy. Bottas goes to the top, getting a good tow from Alexander Albon down the down towards Parabolica. So yeah, interesting stuff there, and yeah, it could completely change the strategy for this weekend for all of these drivers. Going to be very fascinating.
Absolutely, and you see, there's Ethernet cables there with the USB Ethernet adapters. That's exactly what we have up here in the commentary box, you know, to connect to Ethernet as well. We've got a couple of those hanging around. Alexander Albon going off the track down at the Rettifilio as well, over the gravel exit chicane. SHT has said Antonelli crashed at the worst timing. This can't happen this quick. I must admit, it was a surprise, but we're still expecting him to get the contract. Give him another practice session.
Yeah, definitely start giving him even more practice sessions. I still think he's going to get the contract, but yeah, not the best timing, and it's applied a lot of pressure as well, and it's probably now got to him for during the F2 weekend as well. It's probably going to ruin that. His confidence is going to be ruined a bit as well for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Disappointment for him, and it's really a bad timing for him as Alexander Albon comes out of the final corner now and makes his way up towards the line. Of course, here at JBMotorsports, and most people still call it the Parabolica because that is what it is.
It is. It may be called a Scari, but it is the Parabolica. It's always going to be the Parabolica. Leclerc comes into the pit lane as well. Interesting to point out, by the way, a rumour that's flying around at the moment here in Formula One is coming from Stefano Domenicali. Two things. One, he said he is looking into the option of doing what MotoGP do and having the sprint at every Grand Prix, but also said it's not feasible to hold sprint races at every Grand Prix. Places like Monaco, it's not feasible. Australia, places like that, street circuits especially, it's not feasible to run 2 events. So we could see a change around that happening. But, Omi, one thing that has been raising a few eyebrows is a non-championship event at the end of the season, a sprint race for rookie drivers. So each team will have to field both cars for rookie drivers. A non-championship race in Abu Dhabi after the post-season test for rookies. What do you think of that?
Well, I guess it definitely does. It definitely does show then who is, which rookies are good, which ones are. It gives them the chance, gives teams probably more trust in promoting their driver for future seasons. I think most contracts would be signed by the time that we get to that point. But then you do have the option mid-season if someone isn't performing. Well, this person impressed us in the rookie race, so we can probably get them on, or even for a future season as well. So yeah, if it doesn't include the proper drivers, it's not really part of the championship. So yeah, it definitely could help teams promoting young drivers through and putting more trust in them, and also young drivers getting the opportunity to show. Because with how Formula 2 has been this year, as you mentioned, it's been a bit of a lottery at times with drivers and cars not having equal parts. Some people having damaged cars as well, not getting new parts. There's been all sorts of issues, and Formula 3 is getting a new car, so if Formula 3 has similar issues, then that means that you can't really fully get a proper picture of a driver's pace and performance. So this could definitely be a great opportunity for the rookie drivers to prove themselves.
I absolutely agree with you. I think it's a good idea, to be fair. A post-season non-championship race works, and gives them everybody a bit more time out there as well, because it is so limited during the regular season now with no testing. It's better than a simulator. I will just add to that, if it's a non-championship race and you want to give them experience, make it 50%. Make it a 50% race. Give them the distance to properly explore a pit stop. Everything. Give them everything. So give them pit stop, give them a 50% race, or run an F2 distance over the race, which I think is 75%. Something along those lines. Just give them something. And whether that'll be, I presume Sky Sports will broadcast it. They've got the license to show everything in Formula 1. So we'll probably broadcast it as well. But yeah, just give them something out there. I'm very much looking forward to the post-season test, seeing how we can cover that for like an hour over the 2 days as well, to wrap up the season. You don't get much live timing either, and it's very cold that time of year, so it might be like a wrap-up. And we would have just wrapped up from everything else in the season and gone into Christmas mode. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. A little bit of a touch to the gravel there for Colapinto, coming out of Della Roggia as he comes into Lesmo. I'm very much looking forward to. We've got 100 days until the end of the season now, so we're into the last push. 9 races to go, 100 days, and literally not got a clue what we're going to see in this final part. Max Verstappen not won in 2 months now. We're going into September, and it's anybody's guess for the World Championship. Max has got a hand on it, but the gap being 70 points, Lando could close it down for a season finale.
Yeah, he absolutely could close it down to give us a late fight once again in Formula 1, but it needs to be flawless, it needs to be perfect, because Max Verstappen isn't a driver who's going to be regularly making mistakes. Red Bull are a team that are going to be regularly giving you free opportunities, so you need to make sure that you don't screw up at all. And then if Ferrari's updates do work, even though Leclerc's saying the car is tricky to drive, if they do figure something out, then that's another team added. When Mercedes are performing, that's another team in the mix as well. So you cannot afford to be making mistakes if you are McLaren. They have already made a couple of mistakes, so they need to try and work on that, because Red Bull have been here and done it and have won plenty of races. As you've seen, it's been a Red Bull domination lately until a couple of races ago.
So Lando said in the press conference,
the complete opposite almost. He's going to go into certain times in qualifying and races just not being able to preempt what's going to happen with the tyres when they get to this temperature, what's going to happen, how then do you have to drive. We're prepared for everything and every step of the way, and for him that's going to be the tough part, but he's here for a reason, because he's talented and he's a very good kid.
He knows the seat's not up for grabs next year. There's no pressure in terms of having to deliver, and you're not trying to get a seat for next year. So in some ways I think it's more just a bit of experience. I don't know what Franco's going to do next year, But the things you learn in F1 can help you a lot into, let's say, if he does another year in Formula 2 next year.
Yeah, I think it will be challenging, but also I think it will be a perfect experience for him. I think all the kids are dreaming to be in this paddock. Also, in the same time, you feel for Logan in the same time. And yeah, for me, I think to be in the Williams is a perfect track to be racing at here in Monza. So I'm sure he will love every second of it.
The most talented drivers and stuff, they should always end up in Formula 1, I think. And luckily, yeah, there is a new wave again that are now entering Formula 1, and that's great to see. Of course, I'm in my 10th year of Formula 1 already, so I do feel a little bit older now that you see the 17 and 18-year-olds knocking on the door. I think that's normal, but it's good for Formula 1.
Also, Williams are great at educating and teaching the drivers how to get the most out of it. So also, I think I'll try and help him as much as I can as well.
So the drivers about Franco Colapinto. Charles Leclerc letting Nico Hülkenberg through out on the circuit as they come in. Oops! Something flying at me as we get into it at the moment. Carlos Sainz just running off at the Parabolica as well to see what's going to happen next. And I think he just locked and went straight on. Yeah, rear step down. That could have been the same as what happened.
Tricky one.
Yeah, tricky one. Carlos saved it, Kimi didn't.
Yeah, I think F1 TV were asking the same question as me. It seems like we have got an answer. Giovinazzi in 2022 when he was trying to come back.
Oh, yeah.
He crashed when he was given an FP1 chance. And he was trying to make a comeback into Formula 1 in 2022 at Austin.
And left, didn't he, as well? Never came back to the series.
To save
Okay, let's go to BBC Radio 5 Live.
his Ferrari and just run wide into the little bit of runoff area that is on the strip outside before it gets to the gravel. That was actually quite a decent lap from Sainz before he went wide.
So the Constructors' Championship is obviously what makes everyone happy because that's what bonuses are paid out, so that's what prize money is determined by. But the Drivers' Championship, with Piastri, he said, I'm going to keep fighting for wins because I want to help the team win. As soon as I'm not mathematically able to win the championship, I will then start to back Norris. However, he also said that he will do whatever the team asks of him. So I think that's a very clever position to put himself in, because I still don't really understand why Stella hasn't come out and said, we're going to go all in on Norris. Because he is performing, he is winning races, he is the closest. And I still think switching the drivers around, Albon radio.
He's just saying track evolution is massive. Just worth remembering the entire track has been resurfaced.
So I think Stella should just put their eggs in one basket. I think they should have just let Norris win when Piastri took the win in Hungary. That 7 points could prove crucial. I know the argument, we don't know, but at the end of the year, I think we're all going to be looking back, and that will be the race that stands out possibly, and I don't want it to be for the wrong reason.
And I think Piastri, whilst he's saying that out loud to everyone, saying, you know, I'm still in it, I'll still fight, I'm not going to give this over to Norris, I think his attitude behind closed doors might be a little different, because he knows how important this is for McLaren. They haven't won a championship since 1998, and they are on the cusp. And I was thinking about it the other day and how Zach Brown has turned this ship around. And it's not even a slow and steady. It's a, right, pull on the yank and pull the mainsail, and we are turning this, and we are going to do it quite quickly. And the changes are made, and you can listen to that Zach Brown interview from last weekend when Andrew Benson sat down with him. It's in the checkered flag. And it was so interesting, and I don't say that lightly. It was really interesting what Zach was saying and the attitude that this team now has, and it's a very different McLaren to the McLaren of the last 20 years, I would say. And it's bold and it's brave, and they know what's at stake, and they might have well let Piastri take that win in Hungary, but they know what's coming, and they will work together to make Norris a title contender, I believe.
Could they be chasing their first Drivers' Championship since 2008 with Hamilton, or indeed their first Constructors' Championship since 1998, as you said, Jen? Either one would be amazing for the British team, with one of the strongest driver lineups they've had in a long time. And I would love to know what Mark Webber is saying to Oscar Piastri behind closed doors. Mark Webber is Oscar Piastri's manager, and Webber is, if you're in danger of becoming a number 2 driver, well, Webber's the man to have in your corner, isn't he? Because he knows almost the warning signs, and perhaps with hindsight knows what to say and what not to say, and how to deal with that. So I think Piastri's well placed, but at the moment Norris is the quicker driver. We saw that last time out in Zandvoort, where I think both cars actually got bad starts. Here's Leclerc.
How bad is the deceleration? Because it feels particularly bad.
It's poor.
Degradation is poor for Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Oh, deceleration, sorry, not degradation. Deceleration is poor.
Well, talking about that as well, it would still be poor as well. There's no grip at this circuit, as we found out over the past few races. Still all ready to go and ready for action as Carlos Sainz is on a lap time heading down towards Dalla Roggia. And I think as well, Omi, this is going to be the key factor here. We want to make sure it's all good all of the time. And Ferrari stand a chance. Oh, he's backed out the lap. Ferrari stand a chance this weekend to maybe get a win, maybe a podium, but they should be the 3rd fastest team. Right now, they are the 3rd fastest team.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to try win this race. They've waited with their update. They've went all in. So really the expectation for most people should be that they do win the race here at Monza. When they've went all in, they need to deliver a performance like that, especially when the Tifosi have been waiting as well. So hopefully it will be 2019 all over again. Of course, Carlos Sainz's birthday on that day would be very special for him to win on his birthday in front of the Tifosi in his final race for Ferrari as well.
Ted's got news.
Practicing pit stops. Of course, he's been used to making pit stops in his junior career, but none in a Formula One car with many more people in the pit box. And yeah, I think he's going to take it steady. He won't be slow, but he'll take it steady as he's been practicing them throughout the session. Just a couple of bits of facts otherwise. He's taken number 43. That's because he used to use the number 43 in his karting days, I understand, Rachel. So that's why he's chosen that number. Up until the point he crashed, Kimi Antonelli, by the way, was using car number 12, the number 12. We don't know whether that would be his chosen number, for those of you who like these kind of things, into a potential seat next year, but we will see. And yeah, nice to have an Argentine driver, seeing the Argentine flag just above Franco's name in the Williams garage. Of course, Williams run Argentine drivers in the past. Carlos Reutemann, of course, one of the many great drivers we had from Argentina. Of course, Juan Manuel Fangio, amongst
Gonzalez.
the 5-time world champion.
Gonzalez being another. Fangio, 5-time world champion with 4 different manufacturers back in the early 1950s, the early days of Formula One. And, definitely always legendary stories alongside him and Sir Sterling Moss in that season they shared at Mercedes. Final 12 minutes out of this first practice session. Flown by. Hasn't been like Zandvoort at all, where it felt dead. Zandvoort really, really dragged that first session. Me and JT felt like it went on for 3 hours. This one's flown by.
Yeah. There's been quite a bit to talk about as well. Lots of stories, lots of energy just around in the F1 paddock as well, aided by Antonelli's crash. And yeah, me and Megan were really laughing during F2 practice when we were watching Niels Kulin drive around.
Oh dear.
I absolutely couldn't stop laughing. I think it's the most I've laughed like in a commentary when I was trying to make it professional. I was trying to stay composed, but then Niels Kulin is setting lap times which are like 4 seconds off. I'm trying not to laugh.
It's another Ragudothan, isn't it, as well?
Yes.
What's the point? Oh, Perez. Okay. Antonelli's going to be feeling a bit better seeing this, isn't he? Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez both twitching at the Parabolica. And he lost it there as well. It's going to make him feel better. There's something on the entry to that corner.
Yeah. I'm kind of secretly hoping that someone else just has a bit of a moment there. Because then I'll feel better for a bit for Antonelli.
There is Andrea Kimi walking back in. Nearly run over by a Mercedes, it looks like. As well. Ironic. For a country that's ruled by Fiat and Ferrari, and there's a lot of Mercedes around the back end of the paddock there as well. That's what I've just noticed. Fiat is a public company as well. It's part of the stock exchange as well. Same as Ferrari. It's everyone's taxes go in towards the business, and that's why, as well, Ferrari is so beloved. And the Tifosi heroes will come through. This is a man who's won for the Tifosi, Fernando Alonso, two-time Italian Grand Prix winner. One in 2007 for McLaren, got booed. One in 2010 for Ferrari, got cheered. Stood on the podium in 2013. Got more receptions than the Mercedes winners of Hamilton and Rosberg.
Indeed. I still need to check the Porsche Silver Cup entry list for this weekend before tomorrow.
You're going to have an interesting session.
Yeah, interesting qualifying tomorrow, and then the race on Sunday as well.
Yes, I'm not in the Porsches. Actually, I say that I might be in for like 10 minutes, then leave to go do MotoGP. It might be one of those where I come in and out of.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But only have the call for the championship, which I'm fine about. I'd rather get Moto2 done live on JB2. Then I don't have to do it midweek when I want to. I want to try and take next week off, the first 3 days, to fully recover from whatever this is I've got, because I don't know what I've got. It's absolutely floored me over this past week. I think Monday night I was nearly comatose, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday it was very much of a struggle then. Today I'm feeling a bit better, but it's just hard to commentate as well with a ulcer in your mouth.
Yep, all MotoGP action, of course, on JB2 this week.
Absolutely, everything. And we'll upload them. We'll upload them to JBMotorsports, but we can't record them, so they have to be done after the fact. A lot like that.
Well, speaking with Antonelli there.
Yeah, he's smiling with Toto as well. You don't reckon that was deliberate, do you? Throw it off the circuit and then we'll sign you, and then you can go obliterate everybody next year.
Well, I mean, it did really seem like he was pushing on this circuit. So I think even if they did say it was go enjoy yourself, be calm, I think he really wanted to make a bit of a statement by being near the top of the timing sheets, shut everyone up. Whoever's criticizing him, because he's been getting quite a bit of it as well from people who don't really watch support series, who don't really watch feeder series, just look at results as well, and don't know what's been going on in F2 this year. So yeah, it was Japan's going quickest of all in the second sector, the middle part of the lap. But yeah, it did seem like he was trying to push out there and trying to set a statement. You could see that with he was already out there on the circuit, attacking, pushing, and everyone's been twitching, so maybe he pushed a little bit too much. All of the other drivers taking it a little bit more easy. They have plenty more sessions. He has this chance, and then I believe he's got one later on in Mexico, but there's still a bit of time till we get to that.
Yeah, a couple of months away as Max Verstappen goes fastest on a 1:21.676. He's 2.5 tenths faster than Charles Leclerc in second position. One more with not Lando Norris, who's backed out of his lap time as well. The run down towards Ascari. Yeah, I think if anybody's having a go at Andrea Giovinazzi, go back and watch the Spa race before we had the red flag and everything as well. Did Spa get called off that race?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did.
What was it? Red flag came out and it was called off.
And it was disappointing because both Primers had incredible pace there. Antonelli was passing, Behrman was passing. I really think that they could have made it a 1-2 and then battle amongst each other. That would have been pure Antonelli versus Behrman. The fight that we've wanted all year, we would have actually got properly.
It was a fantastic race for the 3 laps we actually got before the red flag came out and stopped it. But Andrea Antonelli ran the outside in the pouring wet. Was it on Colapinto as well?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? On Colapinto, at Eau Rouge, up to Radion. You'll never see a move like it. That was bold and brave, and it was wonderful. One of the best moves I've ever seen in my life, that one, because that was scary. And it was on the 2 drivers who were in this session, Colapinto and Antonelli.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if that doesn't satisfy you, many examples as well. Just go watch his Silverstone performance from earlier on in F2, where it really equaled out for all of the drivers. And Antonelli was able to push on, ignoring safety car restarts, lots of delays, all sorts going on. He just pushed on, dominated that race, got a gap to above 8 seconds, And still, if that doesn't satisfy, you can go watch his record. Germany move, giving Kramer the team championship, or his wet performance in Zandvoort, going from 8th to 1st in 2 laps. There's quite a lot on Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Lots of moments where he just amazes us as well, and hopefully we're going to be able to get some more throughout the remaining 4 rounds, including this one of Formula 2, and hopefully next year in Formula 1.
It's going to be an interesting end to the year, of course, here in Monza. Then we go to Azerbaijan. There's a big break before Qatar, and Abu Dhabi round out the F2 season. Formula 3 wraps up this weekend, though, with their championship. And that looks like it's going to go down to the final race of the season as well on Sunday morning. So join us for that one. And, someone's off the track and kicked up a lot of dust. So I wonder if that's Albon. The oil flags come out down at Lesmo 2. A lot of gravel on the racing line now. No sign of the red flag. Track surface slippery at sector 9, which is down at Lesmo 2. You can see on your driver trackers, if you're watching along with us, the circle numbers, they're the turns, and then the square boxes with the numbers, they are flag marshal points. So sector 9 is turn 7.
Yep, absolutely. F3 championship is going down to the final race. Cannot be won today, cannot be won tomorrow. It's absolutely going down to the feature race, unlike 1 year ago where it was won in qualifying. A reminder, 2-part qualifying. I'll explain all about that when we get into the F3 broadcast as well with Megan. But yeah, that should be quite a bit of fun. But due to all the slipstreaming issues we've had, that's what we are doing. And then Josh, you'll be back for Formula 2 to laugh at Niels Coolen, see what he's up to.
Yes, I very much enjoy that one as I'm up and down everywhere. And then tomorrow, I think I'm in and out of the support series for the sprint race and that lot as well. So that's. I'm not sure. I can't remember what the actual deal is. I think I am. I think, therefore, I am. 3 minutes to go in this session. Then
I think you're on both F3 though.
Yeah, I think I'm on there. I think I'm on both F3s, and then I'm on definitely the feature race for F2. But I think I leave. So I don't think I call the ends of the F2s. Just the starts. And that's your job this weekend. Because Jess isn't around Sunday to take over, and she's only around Saturday. So I think it's Jess and you at the end of tomorrow. I don't know. I get confused. Jess said she wasn't here Sunday, right?
I believe she's here for the feature race.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be Jess and you then, taking over from me.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at the Dall'Orologio. So many down there, 3 and 4. Or 4 and 5, actually, I should say. And Stroll. All the drivers are losing their F1 seats, and yet Lance Stroll's still in F1.
Well, he doesn't even need to worry. He can crash as much as he wants. Doesn't need to worry about anything. Perform badly. He's got absolutely no pressure. He can do what he wants, basically.
Jess has said that I'm here for the support series on Saturday and Sunday, puts F1, FP3 in qualifying. So that's when Jess is joining us for F1. There's Carrie Schreiner, the Sauber Academy driver in F1 Academy. That's one of Jess and Megan's says. So Jess will be on the support series. And then, excellent. And Megan is hosting the pre-show for F1, presumably alongside you, Amy, unless somebody else comes in for a third commentary role.
Yeah.
We're short-staffed this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah.
just or if JT will stop gallivanting. He'll be with us, I think, on Sunday evening for the Milwaukee Mile Race 2 and the NASCAR Darlington Cookout Southern 500. The last race of the regular season for NASCAR before we start the playoffs. So watch as JB Motorsports gets very confused about the playoffs.
Right. Okay, that'll be fun.
I've not been looking forward to this since February, I can tell you that.
Roglic, watching on, won the championship, clinched the championship here in 2022 in the pit lane, when he had an incident on the opening lap of the sprint, retired, and was watching with the rest of us to see what Porsche could do. Turned out not a lot he could do. He was having a poor race as well. Drogovic able to get the title, but still without an F1 drive.
Yep, Drogovic is now looking at everyone. He's raced in Formula 2 and has come up quicker than him, and he's still not in Formula 1. Ideally, yellow flag, Valtteri, but no, Franco Colapinto's off! Colin Pinto's in the wall in the same place Antonelli's gone in. Colin Pinto is in the wall at the last corner. He's done a 360. The checker flag's out. I think he got going. Yes, he has. Thank God for that. But Franco Colin Pinto has gone for a spin down at the Parabolica. We've got TV pictures now. He's coming back into the pit lane. Flags out. And the yellow flags is still out in that sector. So there's something else down there that it's a hazard out there. It's gone through the gravel, that's for sure, though, Omi. Clear.
Something definitely going on at that part of the lap. And well, we nearly thought that he went into the wall.
That's what he did.
As we were waiting to get pictures. Well, luckily he is okay. Luckily he's okay and has been able to port it back. Well, that would have been both rookies in this session. Of course, Colapinto permanent. He's got to be back in FP2 and FP3. But yeah, would have been another driver into the wall as well.
Let's take a look at how it happened then. So it's down towards Parabolica. He's going to hit that bump mid-corner and spin it. Oh, it twitched and then he locked up. Oh, he was lucky. Mid-corner twitch, locks up into the gravel and just stops it, Omi.
Yep, stops it. Does not let it go to the barrier that has already seen two people so far, Antonelli and Bert Mylander as well. And this is Esteban Ocon down to the Retrofilia chicane. We've seen quite a bit of... Oh, well, this time it's a bit of a 360 spin from him. He'll get going. But I was expecting a little bit of a lock-up over the chicane. Nope, it's a spin round for Ocon.
That's a really weird spin. That is... I can't even explain how he's done that.
Did we not get yellow flags for that?
No, we didn't. That was bizarre. No yellow flag came up on the system.
Yeah.
Okay, weird spin day it seems. Max Verstappen though, for the first time since the summer break, tops a session.
Well done.
1:21.676. Let's hear from Lewis Hamilton.
Sure. Seat is getting very hot. Okay, copy. We'll investigate. I imagine.
Lewis Hamilton has a burning bottom. Jess says no, thank God he saved it. One home admin duties on Sunday, says Jess. Ah, that's why. Jess just wants to watch a Grand Prix. Adam, quickly though, said earlier on in the session, it's just loaded in finally. Josh Nomi, favourite Italian food? Too many to choose from. All Italian food for me. What about you, Amy?
Yeah, all Italian food really for me as well.
Pizza, pasta.
You can't pick.
No, you can't. Was it pizza, pasta, lasagna? You've got the bolognese. You've got ragu and all that. It's just so much good stuff. You cannot.
Yeah, how are you meant to pick from that?
I'll have all of it.
Just do. Yeah.
On board, Charles Leclerc. Lights out. The starts, I think, are going to be very fast here because of the new layout. I think it's going to be quite quick down to turn one. The Retofilio.
Yeah, definitely will be. Very exciting to see indeed. The run towards the first turn as they all start doing some practice starts on the grid. And Max Verstappen hoping to be P1 and end the winless streak that he has been on as well. And it's definitely a good opportunity for him to do it. And well, in 2022 we had the safety car which came across the line first around the circuit.
Yeah.
So maybe the Monaco curse still could happen for our winner from last year.
Anything's possible here. Oh. What was that for Max Verstappen? You heard it on the radio. He did not get going at all. The car went into anti-stall.
Yeah. Goodness me. Well, you don't want to do that in the real thing then.
What is going on with Red Bull? It's comedy of errors, isn't it, Amy?
They've had issues behind the scene all the way through since the start of the year. At least they were winning though. Now they've got nothing to celebrate about at all. Unfortunately, everything is going downwards right now for that Red Bull outfit behind the scenes and also on the circuit now as well. They'll be trying to come back. And Ferrari looking a bit better this weekend so far, but it'll be interesting to see whether they can continue that into FP2 and FP3.
Here's results then from free practice 1 for the Italian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen is fastest from Charles Leclerc second, Lando Norris finishes third, Carlos Sainz is fourth, Valtteri Bottas fifth, Oscar Piastri sixth, Lewis Hamilton is seventh, Alexander Albon eighth, Sergio Perez ninth, Fernando Alonso rounds out the top 10. Kevin Magnussen is 11th with Danny Ricciardo in 12th, Yuki Tsunoda is 13th, Pierre Gasly is 14th, Zhou Guanyu is 15th, 16th for Lance Stroll, 17th Franco Colapinto, Esteban Ocon is 18th, Nico Hulkenberg 19th, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli is 20th in his FP1 appearance. Quite an interesting opening hour then. A little bit delayed, a little bit of information gained, but the crucial hour of practice 2 race data will be coming up later on this afternoon at 4 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock over there in Monza. Well, Amy, let's get your thoughts on the session then here from Monza. What did you take of it, this first practice session?
Very interesting first session. Unfortunate for Kimi Antonelli, but hopefully keeps his head up and bounces back as well. Lots learnt as well, but still a lot more to be learnt in FP2 and FP3 throughout the weekend. Seems like it's going to be an interesting weekend and a practice one that was pretty interesting. Quite a lot to talk about, and it went by quickly as well.
It did indeed. We are back at 3:45 for all of the action from FP2 here at Monza. Next up, it's F3 qualifying on JB Motorsports, and on JB Motorsports 2, it's the hour-long crucial session to decide the running order for Q1 and Q2 for MotoGP's Motorland Aragon Grand Prix. That's on JB Motorsports 2 this weekend. Max Verstappen fastest though in the first practice session. Let's see what happens in P2 later on today. Bye for now.